Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 307 country. It's been a little bit since I've been on. Been a long, cold winter, but we got a project we got to get on, and I thought I'd make a video on it. I'll turn you around here. It's still winter here. Yesterday, we've had a couple days above freezing. Yesterday was pretty nice, and I'll show you what happened. Kind of got a damper on things. So the project that I got to do, you can see that little Ford truck over there. That's Shelby's, the stepdaughter's, and she slid into a ditch and screwed up the front end. So she wound up buying another truck. The tranny's out of it, and it's actually a nicer truck. So we got to put the tranny out of this truck and her other truck that she bought. So that's the project. But as you can see there, let me show you. Got a bunch of snow piled up there, and I need to move that because Paula's Mustang is in my shop, and I need to get it out, but we need to put it inside somewhere. We're going to put it here in the garage, but that is the whole winter's worth of snow that was on the roof of the garage there, and it all came off yesterday. So hopefully it's not too frozen, and I can get the skid steer in there and clean it out. But anyway, so that's the plan for a little bit of stuff this morning. I may throw a tripod up and show you moving some of the snow, see if we can do that. We'll see how long. I got a regular battery in here and it's 10 degrees out, so it's a little chilly. We'll see how that regular battery works with the cold. I've got a couple cold weather batteries, so they're charging right now. But anyway, good to see y'all, and I'm gonna go get the skid steer running, get these vehicles backed out of the way, parked. We'll start moving some snow. See you in a few. All right, we got the Mustang out of here. It a little too slick out, and that thing's got a little too much torque to get it parked where I wanted it parked. It's just spinning, but anyway, got Shelby's truck in here. The shop is a disaster, but I'll show you her truck and what we got going on here. Yeah, you can kind of see some of the damage there. I'll put a couple pictures in of where she wound up. Took a corner too fast, you know, young driver, slick roads, wasn't paying attention, but it was on a dirt road, county road, and you know, you'll have that. So anyway, let's crawl under here. Of course, dirt floor in the shop, threw some cardboard down. I'll show you what we got going on. My first time being under here anyway, so kind of give me an idea too. Alright, so got to take the drive shaft out. And there's the transfer case. And then front drive shaft back in there. I'll have to take that out. Goes up to there. And then the tranny. That might be interesting. Anyway, I've got yeah. Well, nothing to do but tear into it and see how it goes. Alright, well, it looks like it's going to be a fun project for the next couple days. But battery's getting low on this one. I got a couple batteries on the charger, so when they get charged up, I'll bring it back and show you progress, maybe show you how to do some of this stuff. But for now, I mean, drive lines are pretty simple. I mean, everything's pretty simple. Just unbolt it and pull it out. I'm just one person, so I got a floor jack. We'll have to try to use it to finagle everything out of here with by myself. But we'll get her one way or another. So, all right, we'll talk to you in a little bit. All right, well, I got the transmission in. I didn't film any of it really because I had the heater going and compressor and all kinds of things happening. But let me, I'll crawl under here. So I'm gonna grab a light and I will show you some kind of the step-by-step of it and explain a few little tricks, whatever, things to not do or to do. So, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so underneath the truck, obviously, this is the rear. First thing, pull the 4 bolts out on the drive line. This is the rear drive line. Pull it out. And it'll just slide out of the transmission right there. Let's see, this slide ain't gonna work. I wonder if I can do this. So yeah, right here, it'll just pull out of the back of the transfer case. Alright, next, so you got the exhaust right there. I just cut it right here and re-welded it. That ain't very pretty weld. And then there's a clamp here you can take off. You got to have this out. You don't have to, but it definitely helps. Then the next step is right here is your front drive line. Now there's a shield that's around this from the factory. You got to take it off. There's a couple bolts on the other side of the transfer case over here to take off. Take that off, then you can access the bolts right there on the drive line. Take those 4 out. Put it in 4-wheel drive to keep it from spinning. Or, yeah, pretty much that's how you got to do it. And then towards the front up here, here's your front drive line. Take those 4 bolts out, drop the front drive line out. Next thing you do, this is your transfer case is right there where the rear drive line goes into it. This is transfer case. So there are, I believe there's 6 bolts right here. Bolt it to the back of the transmission. Pull those out, and then you slide it back. It's got a dowel pin to keep it oriented right, clocked right. So as you slide it out, it'll come off that pin, but it won't come off the output shaft on the transmission. So you can twist it down and get it out. I did it by myself. Transmission jack helps a lot, but not everybody has one, and I didn't, and you can get it done without it. There is this is the back of the transfer case. Rear of the truck is facing that way. You got to plug in up here, unplug. There's also a vent on top of the transfer case. Pull that off, and you can drop it down. So next, back up in here, you can see all these, the plug for the transmission and an O2 sensor. There's an O2 sensor plug there for your wiring harness. You don't really need to take that one out. Your transmission cooling lines, I took them apart at this block here, but you probably take the block off and take them off the side of the transmission here. Most everything's 13 millimeter. There are a few 15 millimeter and some 19 millimeter stuff. Anyway, next you probably want to pull out the cross member here. Because this is lifted, it's got stabilizers or 2-link or whatever you want to call it. There's heat shields up here on top of the cross member. You got to take those out. Those are 10 millimeter. Your exhaust hanger, take that off. And then your transmission mount bolts here, take those nuts off. You want to have your transmission supported with the jack when you pull this cross member down. And then once you get that out of the way, you can lower your transmission down till you get it tilted down enough to where you can reach the bolts up on the bell housing. You gotta have a lot of extensions and a wobbly and kind of a pain, but you can get them. So you've got all your bolts like these around the transmission bell housing. Before you take those out though, you'll have to undo your shifter. 2 10 millimeter, well, they're not 10 millimeter bolts, they're like 8 or whatever, but 10 millimeter heads right there. That's your shift linkage. Pull that off. There's a plug-in right up here. See if I can get an angle on that. Back here behind the shifter. This shift linkage. Right here, you can just pop that off. Pops right off there. So then, towards the front, you got your bell housing here. You got dust cover on the front of the bell housing. Pull those 2 bolts out. That'll drop that down. Then your starter is looking straight up on the back of the engine. Your starter right there. This bolt right here is a pain in the butt. There's also another bolt further up and around the top, and you basically have to just feel that one. What you'll need is a 3/8 drive ratchet with a 6-inch extension and a 13 millimeter socket. Not a deep well. If you do a deep well, You might be able to get them with a 3-inch extension or a 3-inch and a 1-inch extension, but they're tough. Before I was able to get a socket on this, I used a box end wrench, and it was taking forever. I think Ford Loctites all these bolts in from the factory, and they do not come out easy. So once you get your starter out, on most vehicles you would think you can pull your nuts off your torque converter through the starter hole. On a 5.4 Triton, that is not the case. But you need to pull your torque converter out with the transmission so you don't screw up your pump. So, on the driver's side of the truck, right here, if you can see that, right there, there's a rubber plug. Just pull it out. There it is. That is an access hole to get your bolts, your nuts off of your torque converter. Now you'll have to roll the engine 90 degrees every nut you take off. It's kind of a pain. You almost need 2 people to do it, but it can be done. Get that back in there. But that is how you get your torque converter nuts out. It's actually, once you figure that out, which it took me a while, pretty convenient actually, but once you get that off, pretty sure that's it. You have a jack here holding your transmission up. Back it straight towards the back. You may have to jack it up or down just to get it level so it comes straight off the back of the flywheel, so you don't screw up your pump on your transmission. Lower it down, do what you got to do, and put her back in. Reverse order of those steps basically. Now it took about, what, 6 minutes, is that what it is, to explain all this? And it took me about 36 hours probably to take 2 transmissions out and put one back in. So I did replace the filter and the oil in the transmission. There's also what they call cooler clean. I think that's what it's called. It's an aerosol can of cooler flush, transmission cooler flush. You basically screw, it's got different fittings on it, but you can attach it to here and spray it through the oil cooler, and everything will come back out the other line. So you want to have a catch can or something to catch all the nasty fluid. So if you've had a transmission that's went out for whatever reason, you've probably got aluminum in your cooler, metal shavings. So you'll definitely want to flush the cooler before you put a new transmission in. One other tip, your transmission mount. The bolts that mount this to the transmission, or the holes on the mount, are offset to one side. So you got to make sure and get that put back on so that there is clearance to get to your transmission pan bolts. If you turn this around the other way, this lip of your transmission mount covers up the lip of the tranny pan, and you will not be able to get it off. Ask me how I know. Then it's a process of jacking the transmission up, dropping the cross member, pulling everything down again, turning it around, putting it back up, back together. So those are my tips on that. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so that's got that portion of the job done. Did have a couple other things. Well, let's see. Change the oil. The brake light is on, so gonna have to investigate that. It's full of brake fluid, so there's got to be another issue somewhere. The driver's side window controllers wouldn't work, so I took the switches out of her other truck, put them in this one. That all worked fine except for the driver's side window. So I had to take the door apart, and the motor, the window is moved by cables that slide the window up and down a track system. Well, those cables were all frayed and messed up, so I had to pull the whole assembly out of the door. I went down to her other truck, took them out of that truck, put them in this truck. I should have filmed all that because there's a few little things to learn on that, taking the door panel off, etc. But I didn't, so maybe I'll get an opportunity in the future to do another one. But the other thing, I got to change camshaft sensors. They're throwing a code, and her four-wheel drive doesn't work, so we're going to tear into that next. So I'll probably bring you along on that one. We'll see if we can figure out vacuum line system, hubs, whatever's not locking in. Yeah, so it's a good little truck though for a high school kid. I'll show you here. I mean, I think I showed you before, but yeah, nice looking truck, you know, for 2004. So yeah, pretty good little truck for Shelby. Anyway, I think that about covers it for the transmission change. Getting ready for Tazpalooza, so I got to get this truck done and out of here and start working on getting saws prepped, and got a few other things to do, building axe, and yeah, can't wait to meet everybody at Tazpalooza, and I appreciate everybody for stopping in and watching my videos, and hope everybody's having a great day. Make somebody smile today. Hold the door open, or just, you know, whatever, be friendly. And we'll see y'all in the next one. 307 out.